At first glance, science fiction feels like pure imagination, just lasers, planets, and wild adventures. But stories carry deeper messages. They teach us how to see the world. They shape our expectations, what we accept, what we question, and what we prepare ourselves for. This is where predictive programming comes in. It's the idea that entertainment can plant emotional blueprints for the future, subtly introducing ideas that feel familiar when they finally arrive in real life. Paired with that is something even more powerful: emotional conditioning. This happens when repeated images, choices, and consequences train us how to respond to authority, to fear, to resistance. Over time, these patterns begin to feel natural. Few franchises have done this as consistently as Star Wars. Beneath the epic battles and rebel victories, there's a quiet message: that war is endless, sacrifice is expected, and true freedom always comes with unbearable cost. Andor takes this to a more grounded level. It strips away fantasy and presents a world of rules, surveillance, and quiet resignation. It feels serious and thoughtful, but the impact it leaves is emotional fatigue, not clarity or strength. In this video, we'll take a deeper look at Season 1 of Andor. We'll walk through how it shapes your feelings episode by episode, guiding you toward tolerance for control and admiration for structure. And in a future episode, once Season 2 is complete, we'll go even further, offering a complete reimagining of what Andor could be. A story that faces darkness but helps the human spirit rise through it. Let's begin. Many viewers hail Andor as Star Wars at its most mature, an unvarnished portrait of rebellion, sacrifice, and the eternal conflict between freedom and oppression. Look past the firefights, however, and you'll find something more complex. Rather than inspiring open defiance, the series quietly rehearses the psychology of life within an authoritarian structure: how to read it, how to survive it, and, ultimately, how to feel a grudging respect for its efficiency. Episode 1. Casa. The opening minutes give us all the emotional instructions we'll need. Cassian enters Morlana I's brothel district under a list of prohibitions. No weapons, no communications, no credit, no nonsense. The sign is practical, yet it establishes a universe where rules eclipse people, procedure eclipses warmth, and compliance is safer than honesty. When Cassian accidentally kills one Primor guard and deliberately executes the second, the camera disciplines us into unease rather than triumph. We see the cost of pushing back: jittery breaths, blood on hands, a sprint through rain-slick alleys. The implied lesson is psychological. Resistance is immediately coupled to dread and guilt. Even necessary violence carries an aura of moral contamination. Cyril Karn reinforces the message from the opposite angle. He is not a cackling villain. He's an earnest junior inspector who irons his uniform to invisible standards. His superior dismisses the deaths as a regrettable misadventure, packaging lethal injustice in corporate euphemism. By witnessing this calm recategorization, the audience is taught that bureaucracy can launder brutality into normality. The system feels rational, and that rationality begins to feel comforting. Episode 2. That Would Be Me. As Cassian traces rumors of his missing sister, the narrative deepens its meditation on erasure. Nobody speaks real names, supply manifests are doctored, and even Cassian's droid B2EMO weighs the energy cost of lying before deciding whether to comply. The constant substitution of identities trains the viewer to treat truth as a luxury good, expensive, rare, and dispensable under pressure. Memory itself becomes fragile. Flashbacks to Kenari lack subtitles, denying the audience full linguistic access and mirroring the Empire's tendency to occlude indigenous stories. The message settles in. If everyone is replaceable, no bond is sacred. Over time, this normalizes emotional numbness. In such an environment, Demanding structural change feels quixotic. Conserving personal safety feels rational. Episode 3. Reckoning. Ferrex offers what should be a classic Star Wars stand-together moment. Citizens banging on metal, signaling communal resistance. But the show stages it as frantic improvisation. Luthen Rael's first rule to Cassian: build your exit on the way in, reframes rebellion as logistics, not idealism. It is an instruction manual for covert operators, not freedom dreamers. The corporate security assault ends in confusion, accidental explosions, and mourning rather than cathartic liberation. Viewers absorb the sense that public uprisings lack narrative control. The result is sustained anxiety, not victorious adrenaline. Rebellion appears messy, unreliable, and above all, expensive in human terms. Episode 4. Aldani. The Aldani cell exposes the rebellion's internal frailty. Team members distrust each other's backgrounds, hide personal motives, and memorize code phrases because ideological coherence is thin. Cassian's recruitment is purely transactional. He can fly and he stays quiet. Value is utilitarian, not moral. Meanwhile, inside the ISB war room, Supervisor Miro describes insurgent traces as a series of random anomalies trying to make 10 men feel like 100. Her colleague retorts, "We are healthcare providers. We locate germs." The Empire's language frames dissent as disease, predictable, containable, even necessary for imperial vigor. The clinical precision is seductive. It promises order in a universe of chaos. As spectators, we start to admire the Empire's internal logic against the rebels' ragged insecurity. Episodes 5 to 6. The I Arc. Training montages usually bond heist crews. Here they amplify paranoia. Nemik clings to theory while Terramin drills formations. Skeen stashes a knife. Each interaction signals that idealism competes with self-interest. The heist itself, staged beneath Aldani's celestial meteor shower, should exhilarate. Instead, its palette is night vision greens, muffled screams, and a child hostage. When the mission ends, heroes bleed out beside looted payroll crates. Cassian's summary execution of Skeen is framed not as betrayal prevention, but as the natural endpoint of distrust. The emotional consequence for viewers is straightforward. Collective action wins objectives, yet corrodes solidarity. The only consistently safe tactic is camouflage. Just walk in like you belong. Authentic rebellion feels indistinguishable from elaborate survival. Episode 7. Announcement. The Empire escalates with the Public Order Resentencing Directive, an antiseptic title that hides punitive terror. Karn, disgraced, finds solace in a pale blue labyrinth of cubicles. The production design desaturates color and movement, offering visual relief from guerrilla chaos. Submission buys stability. The series provides a subtle emotional barter. Obey and your life adopts clean lines. Resist and you drown in kinetic unpredictability. Episodes 8 to 10. Narkina 5 Arc. The factory prison is Andor's most overt psychopolitical allegory. There are no bars, only polished floors wired to deliver instant death. Rules are recited through light signals, meals are flavored like nutrients, and competition pits shift against shift for the privilege of taste. Kino Loy preaches, hands on head, eyes forward, pace yourself. Each directive erodes personal agency until obedience feels like muscle memory. Viewers share the cadence. Klaxon, work table, sleep tube, repeat. When Cassian and Kino finally mobilize their floor, hope becomes arithmetic. We're never more than 12 guards per level. Liberation is literally counted, not felt. Kino's ultimate fate, unable to swim, reiterates that triumph is provisional. You may break the mechanism yet remain trapped by its residual design. The emotional lesson lands. Your effort might transform conditions without guaranteeing your own freedom. Episodes 11 to 12. Rick's Road. Ferrex buries Marva, and her posthumous hologram speech ignites the crowd. The series permits a minute of unfiltered defiance, drums, fists, slogans, only to flood the streets with riot troopers, sonic cannon blasts, and live rounds. Even B2EMO, a walking emblem of memory, is kicked face first into a wall. What remains is grief-soaked fatigue. Cassian rescues Bix, but the mood resembles triage, not triumph. Spectators exit the finale feeling the emotional math the show has been teaching all season. Bold truth-telling triggers disproportionate state violence. The state recalibrates overnight. Rebels regroup at enormous human cost. Revolution is morally luminous, yet experientially harrowing. Across 12 episodes, Andor repeatedly entwines resistance with dread, trust with risk, and power with competence. It does not make the Empire attractive out of propaganda. It makes the Empire comprehensible through bureaucratic consistency. By the same stroke, it portrays rebellion not as a luminous crusade, but as contingency planning performed by tired people who doubt one another. The series' triumph is its candor about systems. Authority sustains itself less through spectacle and more through routine, paperwork, and the silent allure of predictability. Viewers internalize that logic, often without noticing. You leave the story understanding, even respecting, why millions would rather adjust collars than ignite fires. That recognition is intellectually valuable yet emotionally dangerous. The show does not wave a banner that says, "Submit," but it illustrates why submission can feel sane. By the final frame, many viewers are not plotting revolution. They are calculating thresholds, the point at which they themselves might bend or break. Stories teach, whether they intend to or not. Andor excels as art because it mirrors the psychological scaffolding of real authoritarian life. The euphemism, the paperwork, the small incentives to keep your head down. Engaging with the series critically allows us to see those patterns in our own world and to decide consciously whether to replicate them or resist them. If this expanded breakdown sharpened your lens, consider passing it along. The more we recognize narrative conditioning, the harder it becomes for any system, fictional or real, to draft our emotions without permission.